Fractions in simplest form is the lesson we're going to be working on today. Simplest form is a form of a fraction when the numerator and denominator have 1 as their greatest common factor. This just means that they can't be simplified anymore. They can't be reduced to lower terms than they already are. Some examples of fractions that are already in simplest form are fractions with back-to-back numerators and denominators. This can be anything like 4/5 or 9/10 because the numerator is just 1 away from the denominator. Another example could be 2/3 because 2 is 1 away from 3. Another example of a fraction in simplest form is when you have both a prime number in the numerator and denominator, such as 11/13 or 3/7. 11 and 13 are both prime numbers, so 11 and 13 won't have any greatest common factors other than 1. Same with 3 and 7. Since they're both prime numbers, the greatest common factor will be 1, and those fractions are in simplest form. These are important steps to write down for how to put a fraction in simplest form. The first step is to find the greatest common factor of the numerator and denominator. Step 2. Divide the numerator and denominator by the GCF you found in step 1. The resulting quotients for both the numerator and denominator will be the fraction in simplest form as long as your greatest common factor was correct. So we're going to do a few examples using these steps and make sure you have these steps written down. We're going to put the fraction 12/20 in simplest form. Remember, our first step was to find the greatest common factor of both numbers. So we'll need to find the greatest common factor of 12 and 20. So I'm going to do that by doing prime factorization of those two numbers. 12 can break apart into 3 times 4. We know that 3 is prime, but 4 breaks apart into 2 times 2. 20 can break into 10 times 2. 2 is prime, but 10 can break into 5 times 2. So that means our prime factors for 12 are 2 times 2 times 3, and our prime factors for 20 are 2 times 2 times 5. Now they share a set of 2's and another set of 2's. So the GCF would be 2 times 2, which is 4. So we found the GCF of the numerator and denominator. The next step is to divide the numerator and the denominator by the greatest common factor. This means that we are going to take our original fraction, and this is how you need to show your work. And we're going to divide the 12 by 4, and we're going to divide the 20 by 4. And what we will get is 3, 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So the fraction in simplest form is 3/5 because we divided both the numerator and the denominator by their greatest common factor. The next fraction we're going to put into simplest form is 15/25. The first step is to find the greatest common factor of 15 and 25. So we're going to do that using prime factorization. 15 breaks into 3 times 5. 25 breaks into 5 times 5. So we actually have all of our prime factors for both of those numbers, so we can make our t-chart. 15 is 3 times 5, 25 is 5 times 5, and they only share one set of 5s, so 5 is our GCF, our greatest common factor for 15 and 25. Remember, our next step is to divide both the numerator and the denominator by what we get for the greatest common factor. So we're going to take our fraction and divide both of those numbers by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. So we have another fraction that's in simplest form as 3/5 because we divided both the numerator and the denominator by 5/5, which was their greatest common factor. And these numbers are in simplest form, even though they're equivalent. 15/25 is the same as 3/5 because their shaded parts have an equal value. And I'm going to show what I mean here in a second. We're going to talk about why fractions can be in simplest form with different numbers but still have the same value. We're going to look over here where we have 2/8 of this rectangle shaded purple. We have 1/4 of this rectangle shaded purple. These are equivalent fractions because they have the same sized pieces shaded in. However, 1/4 is in simplest form because the greatest common factor of 2 and 8 is 2. So when you divide both 2 and 8 divided by 2, you get 1/4. So we have 1/4 as the same as 2/8 because it's in simplest form and it's the same shaded area. Next, I want you to do these independent practice problems by yourself. If you need to go back and look at the video for any help on how to solve the problems or look at your steps on how to solve the problems, please do so. First one, make a list of 3 fractions that are already in simplest form. That was way from the beginning of the video when I gave you the examples of fractions that were already in simplest form. Number 2, write 12/15 in simplest form. Number 3, write 4/16 in simplest form. And number 4, write 20/30 in simplest form.